War Eagle Auburn fans, and welcome to the Everything Auburn podcast, which we record right here from the Heyday Market on the Plains. I'm your host, Auburn Communications Director Preston Sparks. With this segment, we're going to delve into a unique way in which Auburn is quickly becoming known as Food U through several innovative initiatives, including a rooftop garden. We have Dr. Desmond Layne, professor and head of Auburn's Department of Horticulture, with us to talk through his role in advancing the Food U initiative and several related cool projects underway on campus. Thanks so much for being here today, Des.
Thank you, Preston. It's my delight.
Really appreciate you being here with us. So let's start things off by having you talk a bit about your role here at Auburn, specifically involving the Food U concept.
Sure. So I'm the head of the horticulture department at Auburn. I've been here, I'm in my 6th year. And the Food U initiative really pulls together several kind of like-minded people that are in different places on the campus. So we've got the Department of Horticulture, we have campus dining, and then we have the entire culinary sciences program. And we all work together so that we can do something that we couldn't do by ourselves. And it's amazing.
So with this segment being recorded here in the Heyday Market, right next door to the Tony and Liberaine Culinary Science Center, it's very fitting that we talk about the Rooftop Garden, right? Can you detail that for us just a bit?
Yes. So the Culinary Sciences Center is at a perfect location on campus. If you're up on the rooftop, you can see almost everything. It's got the best view of Auburn. We were brought into this project as the building was nearing completion, and they were looking for a partner to effectively manage the garden on the rooftop. And of course, we're horticulturists. That's what we do. So we met with the team from the college, from Ithaca Hospitality Partners, and we talked about what it might be like and how we might manage that and how we could engage students in that experience. And I knew it that as I was sitting around the table with that first conversation, that this is something that horticulture wanted to be a part of. So before I even talked with my faculty and staff, I said, yeah, we're in. And then I went back to meet with my faculty and staff and say, look, we've got this amazing opportunity. Let's talk about it and see how we could do something really special in partnership with the Culinary Sciences program on the rooftop of this building and have a garden there that would be operational year-round and our students would be doing the growing. So that's what's happened. We've been up there about a year and a half now, and I'd say it's a roaring success.
That's just an awesome idea and concept there. Talk more, if you will, sort of about how that idea came about. Those who kind of helped make it a reality, and maybe some of the challenges, that those involved had to overcome. I know it's very hot this time of the year up there.
Yes, it sure is hot. So when we had our initial meeting, we actually went up on the rooftop. It was a construction site at the time. So we were wearing hard hats and vests and walking around, and there was literally projects that were still being completed up there. And we saw that we've got about 4,400 square feet of garden space, which is quite a bit. It's not a lot to grow food for a whole campus, obviously. But we're thinking about, okay, well, what can we grow here? What would we grow in these particular times of the year so that we could provide produce and herbs and flowers for the hotel, for the restaurant, for our culinary program? And we went back and started working on some plans. And I got my faculty together and some staff, and they brainstormed and put together a plan. We came back and pitched that plan, and we got basically a green light to go forward. So since then, we started growing plants, we were buying plants, we did our first installation, and now it's fall of the 2nd year, and we're getting ready to do a change out of plants up there for the fall semester, but it's an inhospitable place sometimes of the year. It's just too hot.
Yes.
But we can successfully grow plants up there if we take good care of them, and we've been able to do that.
It's just a true testament to the Auburn Creed, if there ever was one, right? What's happening right now with the Rooftop Garden and other Food U initiatives. So beyond the rooftop, let's talk in detail about that new 16-acre transformation garden that's under construction. That's between Lynn Morrison Drive and Woodfield Drive, I believe.
Yes. So that's a property that the university has committed to for a long-term, well, I'd say a permanent garden. We're calling it the Transformation Garden because we envision it as a place where students' lives will be transformed through the experiences that they have there. And 16 acres, so the largest classroom on the campus of Auburn University. There will be fruit, vegetables, flowers, herbs, row crops. We have a very traditional, long, historic planting called the Old Rotation 100 years plus of cultivation of the same plants in that ground. Everything to state of the art. So we have vertical farms there, which is a new technology. In the future, we'll have state of the art greenhouses there. We're growing plants in the ground. We're growing plants in raised beds. And some of the food crops that we grow there will help to support the Food U initiative and produce that is available in campus dining, or that's available through the Culinary Center, or even for food insecure students.
And all of this has a component connected to Auburn's land grant mission, right, of giving back to the community. Can you talk about the focus of these efforts in addressing the local and global issue of food insecurity?
Sure. So if we start at the most basic level for the campus, we're interested in the ability to produce food that can be used and consumed by Auburn family, students, faculty, staff, whoever's here. So we're growing food specifically for that purpose, but we're training the future growers of the world, let's say. Or we're helping our culinary and hospitality people to understand where their food comes from so that they'll care more about it, that they might engage with local producers or regional producers so they can feature different things. But we're training the next generation of leaders that will be culinary people, that will be hospitality people, that will be horticulturists, that will be growers, and that could be anywhere in the world, really, because the technologies that we train our students in are transferable worldwide.
So true meaning, basically, and what you're learning and putting that into action.
That's right. And we really try to focus on what we call transformational student learning experiences. So in this program, we've got students from like 12 different majors in different colleges that are working with us in this Food U program. So they don't have to be a College of Ag. They don't even have to be horticulture. They could be in English, or they could be in math or some other area. And they come and meet with us, and we talk with them and see about their interest. And then eventually we may bring them on a team as a part-time student worker. And they're learning all about plants and food and the food system and growing for, let's say, for a high-end restaurant, all the way down to people that don't have enough food to eat or don't have highly nutritious food to eat, and how we can grow that in a sustainable and affordable way. So it's very diverse.
Can you also talk about the various partnerships and collaboration? I know a lot of partners involved with this, right?
Yeah, so the initial partner was Glenn Lothridge of Campus Dining. Glenn is a visionary. He wants to make sure that Auburn has a diverse and excellent food supply for the students that consume food in all of our cafeterias and everything. And he has a mission of trying to have about 25% of the food come from local sources. And he wanted to work with the College of Ag because he knew we grow food.
Yeah.
So what are some great ways that we could grow food on campus or near campus that could provide food to the campus that could be branded as an Auburn food and that would help students to understand where their food comes from, and it would also be local, it would be sustainably produced, and it would be as fresh as possible, because oftentimes we can harvest it the same day and it can be consumed that day or the next day, which is quite different than when you're importing food from other countries or even across the United States. And wanting our students to have that best possible experience that they could have because they're at a land-grant university.
Another component I know also kind of involves, the vertical garden containers on campus. I've had the privilege of seeing those in person. Can you detail a little bit about that for us?
So we were interested in a growing system where we could produce food year-round. And there are different ways you can do that. You can do it in greenhouses. Those are very expensive. They take up a pretty large footprint. Another way is to grow in what's called vertical farming, and where there are different companies around the U.S. who have adopted a model where they buy these shipping containers and they convert them into effectively a growing space that's climate controlled, has LED lights, and you can grow crops in there 12 months of the year. And they don't have a big footprint. So we worked with Glenn, our partner from Campus Dining, and he actually bought 2 of these, and we had them delivered to campus and installed. And we've been growing leafy greens in there year-round for 2 years now. And our students are the growers. And so every week they're harvesting maybe 1,000 heads of lettuce that go to the Edge Campus Dining facility. It's in the salad bar. Our students grew it. They're learning about hydroponics. They're learning about food safety. They're learning about environmental control. And these containers can be run by an app on your smartphone. So the technology is amazing. And you have the capacity to produce year-round, irrespective of what the environmental conditions are outside. And as you know, in Auburn, we can have 12 degrees in December, and we can have 100 and something degrees in July. So if you have a climate-controlled environment, you can grow a lot of things and consistently grow it year-round.
And in terms of the student learning component, can you talk about kind of how this overall effort is involving student learning and research opportunities?
Sure. So on the student learning side, they're learning everything from how to grow plants, how to care for plants, how to harvest them, how to make sure that the customer, whether it's let's say the 1856 restaurant or it's a cafeteria, what kind of quality they want and need and what things they want to be grown. They're working environments that are sometimes unpleasant with students from other majors that maybe they don't know, and they've got to figure out how to solve problems. And in some cases, we don't necessarily have all the answers yet. There's not a textbook on how to manage a rooftop garden.
Yeah.
So we're doing research up there where we've got graduate students on the rooftop that are testing different varieties of, say, peppers or squash or cucumbers or whatever, which will be the best ones to grow, and if we're using mulch or not mulch or what kind of irrigation frequency, these different things, so that we can have maximal production up there. And we're doing research on the rooftop, we're doing research in greenhouses in the field, and all of these are to address questions so that we can be more consistently productive, have less impact on the environment, and produce a very high quality product, whether it's going to the cafeteria or, let's say, a very nice restaurant.
Very nice, very nice. So for the listeners out there, are there specific ways in which the public can kind of help support these efforts?
Sure. Tell their friends about what we're doing here. If there are young people in the community that are looking to go to university and they don't know yet what they want to study, tell them about what's happening at Auburn. I think it's quite unique. I'm not aware of another land-grant university that's doing precisely what we're doing. And then also there are opportunities to give to support us creating this transformation garden. So the garden has been designated. We've started projects moving it forward, but we need a lot of support. We plan to have an educational building, state-of-the-art greenhouses, other really nice facilities, and we need the help of generous people to make that possible. So we're looking for like-minded donors that are out there to say, hey, I want to be a part of this amazing thing that's happening at Auburn.
So is there anything else you'd like to add just about the Food U initiative or anything else we've discussed today?
I would say that what makes Auburn special in this regard are the people that have a like-minded approach to working together. We all see the importance of food security. We all see the importance of having local production, let's say in Alabama. I mean, we want to have a secure food supply for the citizens of our state. We want them to have the best nutrition, the highest quality, and hopefully with food that's available year-round. And hopefully that will bring costs down, it will make it more accessible, and maybe it'll help to contribute to a healthier lifestyle through having access to those kinds of food. And the more that our students know about this, the more they can go on and be leaders in the future, pursuing careers that can impact this and hopefully help Alabama to become not only a healthier state, but more economically profitable, and that our fruit and vegetable growers, let's say in the state, that they can find new avenues to grow and market products that will be benefiting society.
Thanks so much again, Des. We really appreciate you joining the podcast and enlightening us on all things Food U. We really appreciate it. Hope everyone listening learned a few new things, grew their knowledge about everything Auburn. Make sure to check back on our show for future episodes as we continue to look at everything that makes Auburn so special. War Eagle.